Hi, welcome to Back on Two Wheels. I'm Ian, and this is the last of the trilogy of videos I put together, trying different mounting positions for the GoPro camera. It appears to work fine on this bike. Let me know what you think. Enjoy. Okay. So, I've tried the harness arrangement on the chest. All that got was a screenshot of here. I tried it. There was a wrist thing, which was sort of, it was better, but you know, you had the mirror in there as well. So now I'm trying this sort of clamp arrangement with like a camera stud thing on the top. So hopefully we'll see if that's any better. So we can see right from the start really that the picture quality is a lot better, and you know, I think this would be the perfect video plays. I guess what you're missing out on to some extent is the fact that you're on a bike, whereas a lot of people are when they're posting their vids, you can tell they're on a bike because they've got their cameras on their crash helmets, and they are basically picking up a little bit of the bike as well, but you know, good clear shot of the road ahead, which is really what we want, because we want to make sure that we are getting the route, as it were, in some instances, and picking up on that really, all the surrounding bits and pieces. So okay, with that in mind, yeah, going back to what I had before, we had the basically the dash and the screen taking up most of the shot, or we had some mirror and the not a bark buster, but you know, the protection pad on the handlebars, providing a little bit of something other than the view of the road or whatever was going through. There's a nice little car pulling out on the scene. So yeah, it's better. I think this is better. By all means, pop your thoughts down. Let me know what you think. I might sound hesitant. I'm actually recording this, as I've said before. I'm putting voice over onto the screen, but for some reason on the app the video keeps slowing down, so it's probably got me a little bit off pat. So it keeps stopping and starting, but hey, I'm sure it'll all be fine at the end of the day. So yeah, anyway, so also I've stopped this one and I've taken sections out of the video. I was having trouble downloading all of them. It took quite a bit of time. I took more video footage on this particular journey. Wanted to include this little bit though. I just shot this randomly as I sort of approached it. I see the bridge was up and I thought, right, so make makes a change. Got a lot of obviously got a lot of canals in Holland, and they've got a lot of bridges. So effectively, there's a lot to see in that respect. I've had to stop. I mean, since coming from the Isle of Sheppey and having to stop for bridges in the past, it's a nice little change to stop for them again, I guess. Anyway, moving forward, this particular journey was on the 1st of August. It was a Saturday. As you can see, the weather's looking fine, and the sat-nav was again set to avoid motorways and tolls, and it was taking me out to cross the border into Germany. So I just found the closest town to the border and set that in. I looked for somewhere like a landmark which I could sort of say, okay, there's a town. I think it was something like an Aldi or something like that, a shopping centre. So I thought, well, there, I can stop there and then sort of have a little wander around the town or whatever. So that was the plan. I do like even these industrial areas here. I'm going off pat here. Even, you know, riding alongside the canals is lovely. Yeah, we could probably do with some hills and some bends and things like that. But no, you got to take Holland for what it is. It's a windy place, so you must bear in that in mind if you're gonna come over here and ride in Holland, where it's so flat, especially riding along those motorways, and particularly the journey that I had originally coming up from Rotterdam to Groningen, where I stay. A 3-hour journey along the motorways there, and the wind was blowing a hoolie. So you can imagine you're sort of like you're riding along a straight, but you're leaning more or less all the way, and the wind blows in gusts, and it's I won't say off-putting, but you've got to have your wits about you, because it does blow some, and you know, you're going past some of these open water places, and it comes and goes. So you've got to be careful. Got to be certainly very careful with the wind over here. Okay, so moving back onto where I was, which is basically, well, to be honest, I don't know where I was. So, okay, moving on. Oh yeah. I was going into Germany, wasn't I? So yeah, picked a place, and that's what I've put on the sat nav. It's gonna, although these roads are quite, they're sort of A roads, and the journey does actually take me off of these a little bit and down into some nice lanes and whatever. And okay, so just as a upbeat from this, or an update, as it were, not upbeat, but it's certainly not upbeat. This particular video was shot on the 1st of August, as I say, and yeah, it was a good run out, a good run back, nice, and then this was a Saturday, and then on the Sunday there was a little bit of drizzle out in the morning, so I sat down, had my breakfast, and I thought, I'll pick somewhere to go to. I'd picked somewhere further down south of where I'm staying, and got all set up, went downstairs with all my gear and everything, and only to find out that the bike had been stolen. So some overnight, between about sort of I don't know, sort of 6-8 o'clock or something like that, and 12 o'clock the Sunday when I went downstairs, some light-fingered, well, we just call him arsehole, had taken the bike. So you can imagine you're standing there thinking, is someone having a laugh with me? It's sort of had a wander up and down the car park. If you've seen the previous videos, you know that it's in sort of like an underground or a basement car park, which is specifically there for the residents. It's not a public car park. You can't get access to it. Well, allegedly you can't get access to it. I need a fob to get in and out of the roller shutter door at the end of the car park there. So the unfortunate sort of side thoughts from that is the fact that it's actually probably one of the neighbours. This is a nice little bit of road here, nice stretch. Probably one of the neighbours that's had their eye on it and decided to out the thing. So my Sunday was then spent trying to contact the police over here, get them round. They came round eventually. Nice enough. Police took all the details, and then all the rigmarole that went with that. It's not plain sailing. Contacted the insurance company, so had to go through all that. This is this recording is on, what day is it today? It's Sunday the 4th of October. So just over a month since it's been stolen. The insurance company are paying, is it a month? No, sorry, 2 months since it's been stolen. They sort of acted relatively quickly to start with. Sent over all the information. Had to wait till I was back in the UK and send through all the paperwork, etc. And then had various discussions along the way with assessors and whatever, and they'd come up with their outcome, which is fine. It's the finance company will be paid, and I get a little bit back as well. So yeah, that was fine, and expecting to get it all sorted rather quickly. 7 to 10 days was what I was told. Chased them up probably about 2 or 3 weeks after, only then to get a message back saying, sorry, there was some sort of error, and you're now being processed. Your payment will now be processed, and it will be another 7 to 10 days. So fingers crossed, when I get back to the UK next week, there may well be the check on the doorstep, and also the finance company will be paid. So there we go, and then it's onward and upward. So I have put an order in for another vehicle, and obviously then it's what do you go for? Do you go for do you just replace it with the same bike? What do you do? It's don't get me wrong, it's a nice bike, and it would satisfy a certain amount of things that I'd want to do, but I think the only thing it probably wouldn't wouldn't satisfy is the longer touring. So if I, especially if I'm out in Central Europe, as it were, then ideally weekends I can then take it out and, as I say, pop over into Germany. But when the weather's better, it'll be nice to go further and to spend. So then go into Germany or whatever, find some roads through mountain ranges, and really start to get some feel of being back and doing something. So it's probably not suitable for that, based on the journey bringing it over. The seat isn't the most comfortable, certainly for any sort of touring. So ultimately it will be a bike that's slightly more comfortable. I have since obviously losing the bike and wanting to not to sort of lose the sort of interest, as it were. If you leave it too long, you might go, I'm not going to, do I get it now, do I get it then? So initially looking to see if there was any deals. We're coming up towards the end of the year. We've got we've had restrictions, etc., in place. So it's what do we do? Do we get a road focused bike? Do we get another one of the same style? There's so many bikes, and there's so many nice bikes about nowadays that it's difficult to sort of to pinpoint one, I guess, because given the choice, and let's just say that originally my original thoughts for bikes, even before I got this one, was the Yamaha Tenere 700, the new Tenere. Nice looking bike, middleweight, lots of history. I mean, ideally, obviously I was reflecting back to my youth, and the XT500, which I didn't get when I was younger, and maybe I should have, but with that in mind, so then the XT, the 700 came out, and it was something that was of interest, let's put it that way. So done a lot of research, done a lot of digging around, and eventually it came out, and got myself over to a Yamaha dealership, where I then sat on it, and there's always, I don't know if I've said this before, but there's always this little joke. Obviously, if you know me, I'm only 5'6", so I'm not tall, and I wouldn't say I'm vertically challenged, because I used to say as long as my feet reach the floor, then I'm tall enough. And obviously so then I went and sat on the XT700, and that obviously didn't apply anymore, because I could literally just touch the tips of my toes. I had some fella there holding the bike upright. Now maybe that had a negative effect, but I was sat on it with him holding it upright, and I could just literally touch the tips of my toes on the floor, and it was obvious then and there that maybe that wasn't the route forward. Now, whilst I'm aware that you can get a lower seat and lowering the little linkages in order to lower it. My concern then was whether or not the ride would be different. Certainly the comfort on the seat would be different. If it's lower, there's quite obviously less padding, and therefore it sort of reduced that bike on my level of bikes, as it were. So when I started looking again, I knew I couldn't really be looking at the XT, and I also felt like maybe I needed to try a couple of different bikes. So I popped down I got a local Triumph dealership near where I'm living in the UK, and I test drove the Triumph Speedmaster, the Street Triple, and the new GT Triumph Tiger GT Pro. In fact, I test drove the GT Pro, and then later on test drove the Rally Pro, which my initial reason for doing the GT Pro is because it's lower. When I watched a review on the pair of them, and the guy was saying how much better the Rally Pro was, and he didn't look tall in stature, so I thought, how tall is that one? So when I looked and checked it against the Honda, it's pretty much the same height as that Honda now. Although I can't get my feet flat on the floor, I can get the balls of my feet down on both sides, and then obviously a slight lean, and you've got your foot flat on the floor one side or the other. So that's fine. The issue I had with the Honda mainly was because the side stand is so tall. When you got it on the side stand, it's nearly vertical. So in order to, when I was getting off the bike, I needed to effectively get off the bike before I put the side stand down. Whereas when I went down and checked with the Triumph, the side stand's shorter, and therefore it leans over slightly more, and it's easier to get on and off. And I can, strangely enough, I can on the higher bike, I can still get on and off with my foot flat on the floor, one side. So it's a lot easier in that respect. So yeah, I took the bikes out. The Speedmaster I took out I think it was the time before, and then arranged for the other two when I came back, just because I had an opportunity to get out there and test ride the Speedmaster. It was nice. It was, you're down there, your feet, you can paddle the bike along with if you're coming up to the lights or whatever, and you're just in a bit of traffic. I guess the only issue, I had a lot of grunt, but I guess the only issue that I felt with that was when you get to you're getting up to 70 mile an hour and you're really holding on. Now, okay, you could argue that that's the legal speed limit, but if you need to go a little bit faster to overtake something or whatever, I'm liable to fly off the back of the thing. So with that, ideally you'd need the screen, and I guess for me the screen makes it a little bit too much like chips. I'm not big on having the big old screen to the front. That said, it's a nice bike, and I would likely opt for a screen and have the, because then if you're doing touring, you can pop the screen on, and if you're just blapping around town, little jaunts out where you're not, it's not a motorboat, it's not a tourer, but if you're having a little blip about, it's nice to have that that large twin, large twin. It was a good experience, and it's a bike that I would definitely consider. And then the street triple, when I came back and test drove those, it was raining, so there was both on. I'd done that and the GT Pro when it was raining, and the street triple seemed a little bit. I felt like I was all set to go over the handlebars. It wasn't a what I would call it's not the position of riding that I would necessarily be looking to go down, and maybe back in my 20s it wouldn't have been an issue, tearing around, but I'm older now, more relaxed, and enjoying the sort of more like the sit-up and beg. This is, I think, where I actually come into Germany near this. I think this is near where the border is. You don't actually have a border. It's a slight river. This could be the place, and so this bit here, this little river, that's the border there, and I've just crossed into Germany. So there we go. So and then the GT Pro, that was nice, more sit up and beg, and a nice bit. Even in rain mode, it seemed more powerful than the street triple in rain mode. So I enjoyed that, and then had a conversation with the guy down there on the next rotation, and he said, I'll take the Rally Pro out, see what you think. It was a nice sunny day. Popped it onto road mode and took it out, a decent sort of hour and a half, 2 hours test ride on it. That was very nice. So so there we go. So I've got my options, a little bit of thinking to do. So I guess the next video that will be posted will be one showing realistically which bike is the next bike on the drive. So I'll let you guess. Maybe you'll stick your comments down on what you think I'll be getting next, and what I'll do is when I pick it up, I will take a video and post it for you guys to see, and then when I get it able to go out on it, as it were, we'll see what we can set up as far as recording some of them journeys as well. So I'm looking forward to it. It shouldn't be long now. So this is coming into the town. I think it's Bunda, something like that, I think it was called, and basically popped into Aldi, Lidl, or whatever it is. There's Lidl, is that? Oh no, that Lidl's on the left. So it was this Aldi I popped into, and and then went up into town, found myself a coffee shop that was open, had a coffee and bit of apple strudel, nice relax for half hour or so, and then ventured back. So I'd like to get another small capacity bike of the same ilk for doing green laning, etc. back in the UK, and even over here to some extent. But we'll see. For now, I think it needs to be a slightly larger capacity bike, just to get some more miles under my belt. Speak to you soon. Bye.